Welcome to episode number 30 of the Chris Rose Rotation, a production of JOMBOY Media. Lucas Giolito back with us. And, you know, a few episodes ago, Trevor May of the Mets came out and he was like, I've got the cold. What's going on in the rotation? Is everybody getting sick here?
Yeah, I think it's getting passed around, these microphones, man. You guys sent us these and next thing you know. But no, it's either really bad allergies. I'm telling you, like out in Chicago right now, I'll be out in the outfield, like shagging BP or whatever. And the pollen and dandelions and all this stuff floating through the air, it looks like balls of cotton are flying through the air. It's unbelievable. And so my allergies are bad. We've had something kind of going around our clubhouse, not COVID. We're all tested. We're all vaccinated. It's all good. But yeah, I just got it right now. Hopefully it goes away over the next couple of days.
Well, we sent you something to hopefully cheer up your spirits. Show everybody what you're wearing today.
Ooh. Repping.
Yeah, the Chris Rose Rotation t-shirt. Let's take that into the locker room one day, okay?
Absolutely.
There you go.
I have one in the locker room.
Do you?
You sent me two.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We splurge here at JOMBOY Media. You know that?
Oh, yeah.
People will be like, yeah, whatever happened to that guy? You'd be like, I'll tell you exactly what happened. Yeah. Tell him.
Whatever happened to what guy?
Me. You can be like, yeah, I co-host a show with him.
Oh,
you're not following along with Lucas. It's okay.
No, it's good. I talk about it all the time. Don't worry.
There you go. I thought maybe that the nice thing is we're 2 minutes into the show and you haven't been ejected. I didn't even know that it happened until we had texted that night. You're like, did you see me get ejected? I was like, what? I had to go back and watch the film.
Oh, Liam was so mad. Oh my God. He was so mad at me.
Why?
Because I ruined his rhythm. He's very particular about like how he warms up. Earlier this year, there was an incident where they didn't play his music, like the music that they play when he runs from the bullpen to the mound. They like didn't start it at the correct time. And he likes his music started at 52 seconds into whatever song is his song that he chose. The starting point's 52, then you play out from there. Well, they started it from the beginning. So he was upset after that game. And then they fixed it, but like there's a lot of things he has to do. He warms up 52 seconds, run down. At that point, our catcher, whether it be Yaz or Zach, is on the mound with the baseball, and they'll toss it to him, and he slaps it onto the ground because he has to pick up the ball off the ground as part of his routine. Wow. And then, you know, he throws his warm-up pitches, very specific what warm-up pitches he's throwing, and then boom, game starts. Here we go. And I ruined that because right before the inning started, I got tossed. And so it caused a little bit of a delay. And he told me that his first fastball was only 96. And that was on me.
Did he motherfuck you afterward?
Yeah, but it, like, you know, jokingly.
By the way, look at you.
He got the save.
Yeah, he's fine. Is this, were you shocked you got tossed?
Kind of, but not really.
Oh, okay. So you kind of earned. Was this a first ejection?
No, it's my second.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
I'm the bad boy of the rotation.
I'm really not. I just like to have fun, man. I just like to have fun. That's my reaction to the pitch.
It is great.
Our dugout did not like it. Do you want me to tell the story of how it happened?
Please.
All right. So the umpire, you know, here's the thing. It's a very hard job. And a lot of time I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. He didn't have the greatest of nights back there. Whatever. It happens. But that inning in particular, it was the bottom of the eighth. We already had, I believe, like I don't know if it was a save type of lead or a comfortable lead. Well, Liam came to pitch, so it had to be 3 runs or less. But it was that inning. Tim hit a homer, but other than that, we had 3 hitters get backwards K'd on a low 4-seam fastball. All 3 of them. And I don't know if like 1 out of the 3 or 2 out of 3, the ball like hit the line, but that one in particular to Moncada, it was like 2 balls below. And so up and down from a dugout is probably the easiest to be able to see on a fastball because it's coming in on a straight angle, up and down. And so it was pretty clear to us that the ball was well below his knees when it crossed. And so we reacted to every strikeout, but that last one, it ended the inning. And so our whole dugout's reacting pretty big time there. I have my hands on my head. And so usually the umpire will do like, if there's a lot of noise coming from one side of the dugout, the umpire will like, there's a couple directions he'll go. He'll either like turn, look at the dugout, tell you to shut the fuck up, stop, leave me alone. I'm doing my job. Like, it is what it is. And that's fine. I respect that. Like, he doesn't want to hear us. He wants to focus on his job. Cool. Like, we said what we wanted to say. It's over now. Or they'll ignore it straight up. Just like go about, write their notes, like go about, get into the next inning, straight up ignoring it. I respect that too. It's pretty interesting to be able to just ignore a bunch, 20 plus people screaming at you. But he chose option number 3, which was, he pretty much like doubled down. He, after the strikeout, it like started with like the yo, shut up, over it, whatever. But then it turned, he said something along the lines of like, go and look at it. He was basically defending his call.
Yeah, he was challenging you guys.
I was right. And so we went and looked at it. We have them like in-game iPads. We're not allowed in the video room anymore. But we have these little iPads that load up. The next inning has to be like starting or on the brink of starting, and then it will load up the last at bats.
Got it.
We looked at it. The ball was like 2 balls below. And so I got the iPad. I stood up and call out to him. He looks at me. This is right before the inning's starting. And I say, hey, we checked it.
No.
We checked it. It was down. It was down. Immediate ejection. So at the time, I thought that I was having fun and, I'm messing around. I wasn't expecting to get ejected for that. I thought that he would get mad at me and, give me one of these, whatever, see ya. Like, I'm going to focus on this last inning. That's the end of the game. But he had enough. The umpire reserves the right to do so. And so I was gone.
And what does that cost you, by the way?
I don't know. I never got fined for my first ejection in 17. I don't know if I get fined for this one. I don't know how it works.
Okay. If you want to forward it to JOMBOY Media, we'll see if we can send it up the chain. Because you did provide content.
Yeah, I haven't gotten anything yet, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, good luck with that. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It was, I just took it like a little bit too far, a little bit too far. I think that the showing the iPad is where it gets you. I think if I just stood up and been like, hey, it was down, it would have been more of like a get out of here, whatever. Let's move on.
This is what we love about you. You're thorough. You brought props. So,
yeah,
I thought it was well done on your part. Well done.
Well, everyone loved it, I guess, for our team. So
we
that's
loved
all
it
that
too.
Matters, right?
Yes, absolutely.
We will be right back to the Chris Rose rotation after this message from Cushy Dreams. You guys probably know Cushy. If you know Cushy Dreams, you're excited to hear about this. If you don't know Cushy Dreams, tune in. Cushy Dreams, we're in lockstep together. JOMBOY Media and Cushy Dreams. It is smokable CBD. Looks like weed. Smells like weed. It's not. It's 100% legal. CBD. They've got some relax. They've got the hustle. Yeah, you probably don't relate CBD with hustle. It's got that side to it. It also has the relaxing side. It's got the think. If you really want to explore yourself, they've got all of it. It's great for anxiety. It's great for stress. You got a bum knee? Try out some CBD. You're going to like it. We have gotten a lot of feedback from people that this was how they jumped in the CBD game, and they're hooked. They love it. Cushy Dreams, they are the best. And if you get them with promo code ROSE, 20% off your next order. So it's not a first order. It's not a last order. If you're getting Cushy Dreams, promo code ROSE for 20% off. They've got the individual single serving pre-rolled. Go check those out. There's video of us smoking those if you're into that kind of thing. Or, I mean, they just serve them. I got one right here. I think me and BBD might be about to get our Cushy Dreams on right after this. Promo code ROSE, 20% off with Cushy Dreams. Go to their website, cushydreams.com. Promo code ROSE, 20% off. Try it out. You're going to like it. Get it for a loved one. Someone that's got a bum ankle or something. Feel good.
Did you love the Southsider uniforms? Because I think you were the first one to throw a pitch in that thing, right?
Yeah, they were cool. Real cool.
Look how badass you look in that photo, by the way.
I look pale.
Well, I mean, but you are. You're.
Yeah. No, it was that little photo shoot was fun. That was the first time we got to put them on. It was like, man, these are badass. The hat, like the jersey itself. It's not just like straight black with the white pinstripes. It's like got this like little pattern to it. And so I really liked it. It was a very hot day. The one thing being talked about a lot was like, it's a hot day and we're in all black. That's going to suck. I didn't really notice anything. I felt normal.
Okay.
This is my first time ever wearing black pants. How do you think they looked on me?
I thought slimming,
Okay.
I mean, not that you really need that. You're a very fit guy.
Yeah, it is a little slimming. That's for sure.
Yeah. I might have to wear one of those. How do I go about getting one of these? Don't tell me MLB.com. I don't want to hear that bullshit.
No, it's sold out real quick. I'm sure that they're doing restocks. I'll put you right on the list for.
How big is that list right now? I imagine that's a pretty lengthy list.
Getting up there. It's getting up there. It's a popular jersey.
Yeah.
You see the Cubs one was unveiled.
Yes, Wrigleyville. I think if I were to rank the 4 that have come out so far, so it's you guys, the Cubs, Boston was the first one, and then Miami. I love the Miami ones. So I think you and Miami take the cake. The Cubs are a distant third, and I think Boston's fourth.
Really?
You don't think so?
This may be the South Side talking, but I got the Cubs dead last, man.
Really?
Yeah. Did you see? Okay. I don't know if you'll be able to pull this up, Rob, but Jock Peterson posted on his Instagram a picture of the Cubs uni, and Yas commented on it, "What D3 school do you play for?"
Oh, that's great. That is hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there it is. Man, we were laughing about that yesterday.
So when you guys play the Cubs, you haven't played the Cubs yet.
No, are we supposed to wear them?
I don't know. I think it should be a battle of the city
connects,
right? Don't you think?
I think that'd be fun.
Oh,
I have no idea.
That would be great. What Division 3 team? I didn't know Grandal had it in him.
Oh, he's a funny guy. He's a funny guy, especially in the morning.
That was good.
We're like opposites like that. He's funny and full of energy in the morning, and I'm a zombie and don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah. Well, incidentally, we'll be joined by your former catcher, James McCann, now of the New York Mets momentarily. He was the guy that was behind the dish when you threw your no-hitter a season ago, so we'll reunite you guys. Should be a good time. Before we head to that, how close are you to getting the Lucas Nader weaved into your hairline like the Yerminator?
That will never happen. He showed up with that, and wow. We were not surprised.
And why is that, Lucas?
It's just something that the Yerm would do.
The Yerm.
He is
great.
in
Dude, between that and the medallion that
his own class.
Dude, the medallion that he wears up to the dish. I mean, it looks like a hood ornament off of a.
I stole it for one game. The medallion. Yeah. He's bought a lot of chains since he's been in the big leagues. That's for sure. Yeah. So the cool thing about that is, I mean, look how his barber killed it.
Yeah. You're
like
kidding.
Usually when people get designs in their head, it's just like they'll have that tight fade and then they shave into it, right? They'll just shave in the design. So like the actual design's just skin. But he did like a whole outline with the hair. So it's like shave, outline, like the Yerminator is outlined through with hair and then shaved inside. And so really like pops.
I'm telling you.
I wonder how long that took.
Yeah, and for people that are joining us audio only, go to our YouTube channel, our JM Baseball YouTube channel, just to go look at this part of the Yerminator, the photo. It is fantastic. I'm telling you, the Lucas Nader is calling your name.
Absolutely not.
What would happen if the wife saw you walk through the door with the Lucas Nader in the side of your head?
She would probably laugh and then cry.
Oh man, that's great.
No, she'd be like, "What the hell did you do?" And I'd be like, "I'm just following the footsteps of our fearless leader, the Yerm."
Yeah.
And she would tell me to go shave it off. Get rid of it. Yeah.
Well, I just want to let you know, I did put the Rosinator. I had that shaved, but it was in my back hair. And so my wife didn't really like it. She didn't dig it too much.
When I was in the minor leagues, sorry to trail off. When I was in the minor leagues, we were so bored all the time. It's like when I was rehabbing Tommy John. I shaved. Well, one of my teammates did. I didn't do it myself. Put the Superman logo on my chest with my chest hair.
No, you didn't.
Yes. I'll have to send you a picture of it.
Please do. First of all, you were that hairy in the minor leagues?
Oh, I've got to, yeah. I mean, since I was probably 17, 18.
Oh, so you're like a human sweater, huh?
Yes. I try to keep it down, but it's tough.
So you put a big S, like, did you go to the pool with the S?
But like in the logo and like the shield thing, like the whole
thing.
He did it. Yeah. It was just for fun. I kept it. I don't know. I kept it for a day or two just for the laughs.
Did you go out in public with it?
No.
Come on. If you're going to go for it, go for it.
No, I don't remember. I don't think I ever went to the beach or anything like that. Maybe our pool. Maybe our pool at the La Quinta.
La Quinta makes another appearance.
Yes.
Beautiful. Speaking of making an appearance, we have our guest, James McCann, former White Sox, now of the New York Mets, getting ready to join us. So you're probably sitting there and you're thinking, hey, Father's Day's right around the corner. I have no idea what to get my pops this year. Well, that's where we come in handy. Go get yourself dugout mugs. Just like this, you can get it engraved. You don't have to get the Chris Rose rotation on there, but get whatever you want. So you go to dugoutmugs.com. You use the keyword rotation. The first 500 of you that do that, you get 30% off your order. The next 500, you get 25%. The next 500 after that, 20%, and so on and so forth. So go out, you get your dugout mugs. You can also get your wind up. Once again, any sort of logo engraved on that. You can get your season opener for Pop's favorite beverage and pop that out, or my favorite, the little knob shot. Look how cute that thing is. I guarantee you, I'm a dad, a father of two. If my kids came to me and said, hey, we got your dugout mugs this year for Father's Day, I'd be like, you guys are the best kids ever. So go be the best kid ever. Get an early Father's Day gift for Pops at dugoutmugs.com. The keyword there is rotation. So you say you want to work in the baseball world and don't know how to get involved. That's where our friends at Sports Management Worldwide are here to help. They offer an 8-week course in several different areas, like baseball player development course. That's with a former baseball GM, Dan Duquette. Say you want to become a sports agent. Oscar Suarez, who is a longtime agent, is there to teach you a course. We've got a baseball GM and scouting course with former Dodgers GM Dan Evans and a 40-year baseball scout, Hank Jones. And then there's also a baseball analytics course with Ari Kaplan, who's one of the gurus of analytics. In fact, that course was so good that current Royals manager Mike Matheny actually took it. So they'll teach you how to get a job, who to know, and how to help. And it's not just baseball. They can help you out with football, rugby, cricket, hockey, sports broadcasting. Maybe that's a course that I should take. Esports, sports gambling as well. So once again, they are here to help. You can apply for free at smww.com. Use the discount code JOMBOY for $50 off of the course that you choose. So go out and do something today. You want to be involved? They are here to help. Once again, it is smww.com. $50 off the course that you choose with the code word JOMBOY. So we continue on with the Chris Rose rotation, and Lucas Giolito, once again, you're not a guest. You are a co-host. So why don't you introduce today's guest, since you were so big in getting him on the show today? Let's go for it.
Absolutely. This right here is James McCann. What is this? Guest number 4?
For you?
Well, yeah, for me.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's hard to keep up with everybody.
Episode number 30, but this guy is number 1 in your heart. James, welcome to the show.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
All right. So, James, Lucas, do you guys still stay in contact now that the guy's gotten the big money deal from the New York Mets? Or are you guys allowed to chat and talk?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And what do we talk about, guys? Let's not be secretive. Like, James, do you watch your guy pitch? Do you send him pointers? Do you just catch up on family? What do we do?
All the above. I know when he's pitching. As soon as my game's over, I'm checking to see his box score, watching the highlights. I'd say we've probably talked at least every other start that he's had.
Lucas?
Yeah, it's same here. It's funny. So you know how there's like algorithms to all the social medias?
Yes, I've heard of those.
My Instagram Explore page is as if I'm a Mets fan right now. It's so weird. Like, I'll check the Mets scores and see how James did. I especially like to look when he's playing first base, because that's a new development this year. But yeah, and then I don't know, for some reason, like on Instagram Explorer, baseball stuff pops up. I click on it. A few things have been Mets, and now it's just like, you love the Mets. Here you go. Here's all the transactions, and here's everybody on the IL. I'm like, okay, I guess this is how it is now.
You become such a fanboy. Hey, yeah, James, that is kind of new for you. You're back up on your feet for the first time since college. How is that going at first base? Is it a little scary?
Yeah, man, I can tell you the first game that I played there, it was like playoff jitters until I made my first play. And it was actually nice because before I got my first ground ball, pitcher picked over. I actually got to catch a ball, and it was like, all right, I can do this. But I'll tell you what, we had a rough one last night, and I joked with Pete Alonso. I said, man, I know long innings seem long when I'm catching, but gosh dang, standing on my feet for that long, that's a long inning out there.
Plus, guys love to come over and chat. Like, you have to be the social chair when you're the first baseman. You have to welcome everybody and greet them. And have you had any nice conversations with guys?
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of guys. Trey Mancini last night. Got to talk to him a little bit. We trained in the off season together this last off season, so getting to catch up with him. But I really enjoyed my conversation with Freddie Freeman. I can't really share what we talked about, but he's got a great sense of humor. I'll leave it at that.
Can you give us a topic?
No, if I gave you the topic, you'd know what I'm talking about. So I gotta
Okay.
keep that between us.
That's good. Okay. I think I know which direction we are. Wink, wink. I'm all good. All right. So Lucas, you and James are going to be forever linked in White Sox lore because of what happened during the pandemic season with your no-hitter, et cetera. How much did you rely on this guy to get you through, particularly that ninth inning?
Well, he was calling shots the whole game. I'm very much the type of pitcher where if I get into that rhythm early, I don't like shaking. I don't like thinking. I just want to get the ball and throw it over and over again until I'm done. And it was one of those games where early, like first, second inning, I noticed that I was getting into a nice groove. I was driving my fastball where I wanted to. My changeup was moving how it needed to. The slider was good. James noticed it. And then, he was calling the shots from there on out. The ninth inning, he went, if I remember correctly, he went to the slider a lot. And it kind of threw them off, going third time through the order. You'd think guys are going to start trying to adjust to the changeup and trying to pick out certain pitches, but it was like slider. And then we tried for the high fastball at the end of the game, and I yanked it down. And the rest is history. Hard line drive, and Adam Engel, who we just got back, by the way, and then he robbed a home run his first game back. But yeah, he got the good read, and we got the line drive out, and that was it. I was pumped.
James, how nervous does a catcher get in the ninth inning of a no-hitter?
I was real nervous. I had flashbacks to when we lost a no-hitter with Verlander, and I think it was 15. Gave up is actually a very similar pitch that we ended the game on right there. Fastball up and away to Chris Iannetta, and he cheated to it and pulled it down the line. I think it hit chalk, and it was a fair ball. So I kept having flashbacks of that, but what I kept going back to in my head was I'm going to stick with his strengths right here because if we give up a no-hitter on his strength, I can live with it. So, that's what I kept thinking in my head is we're going to stick with strengths. We're going to go with what Lucas's strengths are here over what maybe the hitter's weakness is, and let the chips fall as they may.
Okay, one thing I noticed at the end of the game when you guys embraced was how sweaty Lucas was.
Oh, yeah.
How many showers did it take you to get clean, James?
Oh, man. The beer shower was probably good enough to get me clean, but I did take a good shower after.
Lucas, man, you like to sweat out there. It's like you just went 12 rounds with Tyson.
Yeah, throwing a complete game, it's a lot. I only get to play once every 5 days, so
yeah, you want to really lather it up.
Yeah, I want to get my workout in.
Okay, that's good.
I don't get to do it every day like these guys.
So, Lucas, let's see how much you know about your buddy, James McCann. What do you know about his first major league homer?
It was inside the park.
Bingo.
Nice.
Why did the Twins do you dirty like this?
Oh, man. I'll be honest with you. When I hit it, I come around to score as I'm watching it right now. I come around to score, and I didn't even realize it counted as a home run. I couldn't remember the last time. T-ball was the last time I hit inside the Parker. So guys are going nuts in the dugout, and it literally wasn't until I made it back to the dugout when guys are going nuts that I'm like, man, that counted as a home run. That's my first home run. But it was pretty cool.
So when you see the third base coach waving you around, are you like, I don't know if I got another 90 in me?
Yeah, when I come around second, I'm like, oh, I got my first big league triple, and then he's still waving me. In my head, I'm thinking, there's no way, this is unreal. And I guess I really didn't even need to slide, but I did because I couldn't believe that I was getting sent all the way.
Lucas, what do you know about your boy?
Off the wall.
What's that?
Just took a hard right turn off the wall there.
Yeah, well, that's kind of a funky outfield out there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of interesting crevices and bounces. Lucas, what do you know about your guy's second major league home run?
Oh, I don't think I know anything about it.
James, do tell.
Houston.
As a walk off.
Oh, in the 11th.
All right, now how exciting is this when you finally get to round the bases instead of sprint around them?
That was pretty exciting, especially end the game. That was very exciting. Well, it was actually one of the moments where you kind of black out and don't even really realize what happened.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, you became the first player since the eventual Hall of Famer Tim Raines to have your first homer be an inside the park job, and then your second homer be a walk-off. And would you like to let Lucas know about your third home run?
It was another walk-off.
Dude, your boy is...
I did not know this. Wow.
The things you learn on the Chris Rose rotation.
Yeah.
And
I think the next walk-off was actually against the White Sox.
Mm-hmm. You are the only person in Major League history to go inside the park, walk off for your first three.
How about that?
Well, come on. Don't tell me you're not going to use this at some sort of swanky dinner party.
Yeah, I should have used it. I should have used it in my first arbitration case. That should have got me at least an extra couple dollars.
Absolutely.
All right. So you guys both, and I want I want both of your takes on this one. You guys both came up to veteran teams. So James, I think you came up in 2015. Did you come up in 2015, 2014?
14 was when I made my debut.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about superstar after superstar. When you walk into the Tigers clubhouse, what is it like emotionally?
Oh, that is one of my, especially just kind of where the game is at right now. That's one of the things I take the most pride in, is that I did make my debut and come up on a team that was winning, and come up and have to make an impact on a team that had playoff implications. It wasn't a situation where come up and we're trying not to lose 100 games. A situation where we came up and we're trying to win it all. But yeah, you walk into that clubhouse, and I mean, the first two starts I had, I caught 2 Cy Young Award winners. I caught David Price and then Justin Verlander. So honestly, you get in that clubhouse and you see the pitchers. I mean, you got Scherzer, Verlander, Price, Anibal Sanchez at the time was coming off of a AL ERA title. And then you look at the lineup, you got arguably the best hitter of our generation in Miguel Cabrera. You got JD Martinez, who's making his mark on the big leagues at that time. Victor Martinez, Ian Kinsler. It's one of those things where you kind of put your head down and try to barely be seen and definitely not heard. But just listen to everybody, because there is so much talent, so much knowledge in that locker room.
Lucas, what about for you when you came up with Washington? Because I mean, all eyes were on that franchise at that time.
Oh yeah, I mean, Scherzer, Strasburg, Gio Gonzalez. Man, who else was in that rotation? Tanner Roark, and then Jason Worth, Bryce Harper, Ryan Zimmerman, et cetera, et cetera. Young Trey Turner killing it. It was a really, really good team. Very similar to what James was talking about. I was called up out of AA to a team with playoff implications. Like, I was in big league camp earlier that year, and it was like basically the attitude was World Series or bust. We were trying to win a World Series. It was, I believe, Dusty's first year as the manager over in DC. And I get called up, and it was the same kind of deal. Like, I kind of have a very, and James knows this, like, out there personality in the clubhouse. I like to talk a good amount. I like to mess around. And it was like, when I got up there, I was like, I can't do any of this. I'm just going to try and learn as much as I can from all these guys, be a sponge, and just keep my mouth shut and not make any waves. So that was pretty much my first experience. I got sent down a lot too, so a little bit different than James.
So James, how great is it being a teammate of Miguel Cabrera's?
It's pretty neat. One of the things that I learned the most from him was just his attitude on a daily basis. I guess I say that now. It's probably easy when you're the best hitter in the game to have a good attitude every day. But no, I never saw him slam a helmet. I never saw him slam a bat. I saw him get frustrated, but at the same time, you can take stuff from guys like that and just realize that, man, over the course of a season, you're going to have times where you absolutely suck and times where, you can't get out. So seeing how he handled his failures, as minimal as they may have been, that was big for me. But then just watching what he did and then just watching him take batting practice, doing his cage work, the way his approach in a game. I remember I tell this story and guys kind of don't believe me, but this was September of 14. I probably had at this point maybe 10 big league at bats. I'm sitting on the bench and Miggy rolls over to the shortstop and gets out, comes back in. He says, "Hey, go watch my film and tell me what I did wrong." And one of the other Latin players like, "You better go watch it." I'm like, "He wants me to tell him what he did wrong? What's he talking about?" So as I go into the video room and I'm looking at his swing and I bring up a homer that he hit the week before and I'm comparing it. And the first thing I notice is that he kind of lost his posture and he had leaned over the plate and then come out of his swing. And so he comes back in and I tell him, I'm like, "Meg, I think you lost your posture." And he said, "Yeah, Poppy, that's what I felt. I leaned over. I need to stand up taller." And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I saw." So next at bat, he comes up to me and says, "Watch what I do right here." And he gets in the on deck circle. I'm watching him take his swings. As he walks up to the plate, he looks over at me and gives me a nod. And I watch him in the box. He literally sits there and stands up taller in the box and ends up hitting a homer. And he comes back in. He's like, "See, I told you, Poppy, I knew what I did wrong." It's like, this guy's unbelievable.
That's amazing.
But, yeah, hey, no, that's Miggy.
Assist McCann on that one. I mean, when he's there in Cooperstown, he might relay that story. Just saying.
Yeah. Just one of his however many he's got.
It's pretty good. All right, now I want to get to the guy that's my co-host. What is it like catching Lucas Giolito? Is he a guy that you have to calm down, that you have to keep him in emotional check? What is it like?
All the above. He and I, looking back on our relationship when it started in spring training of 19, I remember catching his first pin, and I actually told Ricky Renneria, the manager at the time, I said, "That's a different Lucas Giolito than I've ever faced." It was right when he had made his mechanical changes, and I could just tell catching him that he was a different pitcher than what I had faced as a hitter. But I remember we sat down, we talked after that bullpen. I think that's really when our relationship started to grow. But one thing about Lucas is that there's going to be days where I go out there and I cuss him up and down to get him to wake him up, or there's going to be days where I go out there and just remind him how good he is. It's kind of one of those things that for some reason, our relationship grew so close that I just knew every time he's on the mound what he needed. If he needed a little kick in the butt, or if he needed a pat on the rear end, whatever it may have been, that's just kind of how our relationship grew. And I think part of it was that for whatever reason he trusted me from the get-go, and we were able to just develop that relationship.
Lucas,
spot on.
You look like you're almost getting emotional there, my man.
Oh, yeah, I miss James, man. Oh, it was yeah, I mean, I'm trying to remember. It's like hard for me to remember like how the relationship developed, just because like it just kind of happened. And next thing you know, like I'm throwing really, really good games, some of the best games of my life, like early on in the season. James is catching them, and it just went from there. But like that's interesting he brings that up, because kind of the like checking emotions and like not getting it too high, not getting it too low kind of figuring out where I need to be for myself to have the best performance, like inning to inning. That's something that I'm working on a lot right now. And like when I was throwing with James, it was interesting, kind of like the subtle ways he would kind of keep me in check. So
what would he do?
Just like I don't know.
Well,
like
I can tell you one. Day games, he needs to be woken up.
Yes.
Day games, I know there's no patting on the rear end to tell him how good he is. Day games, it's, hey, let's go, man. It's time to go. It's time to get going. It's time, you're running 20 minutes behind. You need to get yourself going. Let's go. That kind of stuff.
I remember one game where it was like, I think it was, it was raining and we were like winning this game. I think it was against the Blue Jays and it was at home. It's raining and we knew that the rain was coming, like, and that they were going to have to stop the game. But in our league, if you get through 5 innings, then it's an official game. Mm-hmm. And so I just went out there for like the 4th and 5th inning with the lead and just pitched as fast as I possibly could. It was like, get the ball back, get the sign, throw it, like not thinking at all, just like throwing pitches. All I'm trying to do is execute pitches, get back in the dugout. And then after the game, James is like, why don't we just do that all the time? That worked great. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because sometimes like I'll take a little bit too long. I'm thinking about the pitch I just threw. It's like too much. And so, that's one little thing. Hey, let's just do that. Keep that pace going. All right, cool. And that was something that kind of carried with me. Just like little moments like that. Oh man. Yeah, it was.
By the way, I know, James, that Lucas is not a morning guy. I've watched it, I've seen it, and I can't book him too early to do the podcast either.
Yeah,
that's
a
good scouting report. You figured that one out.
Yeah, it becomes clear to everyone I meet pretty early.
So, by the way, with all due respect to Lucas Giolito and every other pitcher on the planet right now, James, what is it like to catch Jacob deGrom?
I've told Lucas. I've caught how many Cy Young Award winners? Verlander, Price, Scherzer. I'd be shocked if Lucas doesn't win one at some point in his career. But deGrom is on another level. deGrom is he might be from a different planet. I really don't know. He's averaged over 100 miles an hour on his fastball his last 2 starts. The one thing, Lucas, I remember he texted me and he's like, hey, I need to get on. This was during spring training. He's like, I need to get on deGrom's program. What does he do? And I was like, man, I really don't think that anyone can get on deGrom's program. What he does is like, I remember during spring training catching a bullpen and, this is before games even started. I'm thinking like, man, this guy's pretty good. And I go out there and shake his hand after and he's like, it wasn't very good. I'm thinking, what? He's like, yeah, my release point was off by a little bit. And so sure enough, the analytical guys come up, they're like, yeah, I was off by 0.7 inches today. You need to, lower it, whatever. And I'm like, how does this guy feel that stuff? But he does, like, and that's that, everyone talks about, not only does he have elite stuff, 100 mile an hour fastball, 92, 93 mile an hour slider, plus changeup, but he feels things and makes adjustments quicker than really any other pitcher I've ever met. I don't know how he does it, but he is so in tune with his mechanics and his release point and what he wants to feel. That's why he's able to make those adjustments so quickly.
Lucas, what's it like as an all-star pitcher watching Jacob deGrom work with your guy?
Well, it just seems like James just sets up down and away and he throws, 101 and the late breaking 93 mile an hour slider, the change up again, late breaking, all out of the same slot, all out of the same release point. I feel like James' job's kind of easy at that point, man. It's not like trying to catch me where it's like, all right, we got to speed you up. We got to slow you down. Like this hitter is trying to sit on this pitch. This hitter's trying to sit on this pitch. No, just throw the 99 to 104 over here, and then maybe we'll mix in one of those, like playing a video game.
It is. I don't play video games, but I've watched Lucas play MLB The Show, and that's what it is. It's playing a video game.
See, it's more fun though when you don't know the ending to a story. Like with deGrom, it must be boring. You're like, okay, well, he's not going to give up more than 1 earned run today. He's going to punch out 11. He's going to maybe walk 1 on a bad day. With Lucas, you don't know what you're going to get. You could get the meal of a lifetime, or you could be like, I might need to send this back to the kitchen. That's what makes it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Hey, and Lucas, Jake doesn't have a no-hitter yet. You've got him there, so.
That's right.
I can't believe that. I can't believe it.
I don't think he can believe it either.
Yeah, for real.
Especially this year. Every other pitcher throws a no-hitter this year.
James,
is it even cool anymore?
Or can you see it when deGrom's throwing like that they're defeated already?
Yeah, you can. I mean, guys will take pitches and be like, and I mean, just their response is like, oh my gosh. The best is when pitchers come up to hit. And they take that first fastball and they're like, how do you guys hit this? And I said, well, they don't. Look at your team. But no, guys will definitely respond differently to at-bats against him than they do, we've got other phenomenal pitchers on our staff, and their reactions to him are just different.
Mm-hmm. Before I forget, I need one good story about one of our other co-hosts, Trevor May. What do you got?
Trevor May. I told him what Lucas called him the other day. He didn't really like that.
What I said?
You called him Trevor Bauer Jr. because he's doing all these vlogs now.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
He said did he say that like in text or on the phone? And I was like, it was just in text. Like he was just joking. He's like, I'm gonna have to talk to him about that. Okay. No, but he's good. Actually, we ride the bus together. We've got bus assignments with this COVID world. We don't get to ride with our entire team. So each bus only has like 5 to 6 guys on it. So I'm always on his bus, and he reminds me of Lucas. Very, very big into gaming and just the knowledge of the tech savvy stuff that I have no knowledge of.
Even more so than me, man. He's
he's different level.
Well-established Twitch streamer, and I mean, he's in there. He's in that world.
He's very knowledgeable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. James, you are one of the few people that has caught a non-bearded Dallas Keuchel and a bearded Dallas Keuchel. Which look do we like better?
Oh man, it's so weird to see him without the beard.
It is weird. I mean, the bearded Keuchel is a better look. I'll give him that. He does a really good job keeping that thing shaped and looking nice. I haven't asked him. I should have asked him. We had a rule we couldn't have facial hair in college, so I just wonder if he would have started growing it out in college had we been allowed to have facial hair or not.
Mm.
Me on the other hand, I still can't grow a beard, so I definitely didn't have a choice in college.
Lucas, would you like to see your teammate clean shaven?
Dallas?
Well, would it scare you?
The other day we asked Dallas how much money for him to shave it all off, go full clean shaven, start over. And I honestly was expecting him to say at least like 500 to $1 million. And he said like a couple $100,000. Get a new Ferrari,
So we're in the ballpark.
Yeah, I mean, you want to pay him?
No. We don't have the budget on this show. Maybe a few jobs ago, but not anymore. Not anymore. No, I'll leave it as just nice bushy beard. That's good. Hey, James, so you're like Lucas. You're a Southern California guy. You grew up in Santa Barbara, I believe, right?
Grew up in Santa Barbara.
But everybody notices that twang.
Yeah.
You get that down in Razorback country at Arkansas, huh?
I guess I don't know when it happened. My roommate was from Kentucky. I ended up marrying my wife's from Kentucky. It just kind of happened, I guess. I honestly don't know how it happened or when it happened. But what's funny though is my wife says I sound polite. She said that's what she calls it. She says you sound like you're from the West Coast. You sound too polite. And I was like, what does that even mean? But I mean, there's different words that will like. Let me ask you this: how do you pronounce OIL?
Oil.
Oil.
Yeah, she's that's how oil. She says oil.
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 What?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's OAL, and I don't know what that is. OIL is oil.
Well, she's got to be careful because from what I understand, now I do all my research on Wikipedia. So of course, everything is 100% right. It said that you got all A's except for one B in your high school and college academic life. Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
It
is.
Nerd.
Where'd we screw the pooch? What happened?
Oh man, biology class my sophomore year. I got a 89 in the class and he needed a 90 to get an A, and the professor wouldn't budge.
Did you? I would have gone into the office and like said, okay, here's the deal. I have never gotten anything lower than an A in high school and so far through 2 years at Arkansas. What can we do to make this happen?
I tried my darndest. I really did. And he was a huge baseball fan too. He loved Razorback baseball. I think he said he had a cousin who pitched in the big leagues, a left-handed reliever. I think his last name was like Sherman, maybe is what he said. But he wouldn't budge. He said the rules are the rules. I told you on day one, 90 is an A, 89 is a B, and I got an 89.
Lucas, do you have the same academic portfolio?
Well, I didn't make it to college, Chris.
Well, I know that, but in high school,
I went to a really difficult high school.
I know, but still.
I finished with a very respectable 3.3 GPA.
That's very good for people that aren't familiar with Harvard Westlake. That is exceptional. I'm just saying, it really is.
I mean, yeah, I from the get-go, I mean, elementary and middle school, I was a straight A student, and I was in public school, and then we switched over, went to Harvard Westlake, and like my first semester, I remember being like, yo, what the hell is going on? What is this? Like, I'm surrounded by all these kids that just go home and study. They're 14 years old and they just go home and study. I had never studied a day in my life. I'm like, what is this? I can't believe it. I wanted to go outside and hang out and go to the mall and play video games. It was like, no, you got to sit down and like read 8 pages of the history textbook every single day. Okay. I guess that's what this is all about. And so it was like a crazy wake up call. Same exact thing happened to my little brother when he went too. That first semester kind of kicks your ass. Yeah. And then it was like, okay, so like, this is how you have to do it. And then for the next couple of years, I was just figuring out ways I could do the bare minimum while also like being in a good spot. Stay in the B plus, that'd be beautiful.
Yes. We call that baseball eligible. Yeah. And then some. Very good.
I wanted to be more than baseball eligible. Like I wanted to do well, but it was like, I couldn't do the homework. I went to baseball practice and then I would go to a gym after that to work out. I'd be getting home at like 9:30, 10 at night. And then it's like, all right, am I going to do 3 hours of homework or am I going to chill out for a couple hours and go to bed?
Lucas, it worked. Look where you are now.
It worked.
Okay. Holy smokes. James, I understand the therapy sessions you used to have to get this guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Man, I'm now seeing it all.
Sometimes the umpires didn't give me long enough on the mound.
For real.
James, I want to, we got a couple more things and we'll let you go. I guarantee you I can make you smile. Arkansas, LSU, when you're down there, the walk-off homer you hit, is this maybe the greatest baseball feeling you've ever had? Only because I looked at the fan reaction. I was like, holy smokes, that's insane.
Yeah, that well, the little backdrop of that game. So this is going to sound crazy. First off, we had won the night before. This is Saturday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. Friday night we had won. Friday night, our hitting coach pulled me aside as a junior And he said, I forget exactly how he said it, but he's like, look, man, you're a junior. You need to start coming up with bigger hits. You're not coming up with the big hits. We need you to come up with some bigger hits. It's your time. I'm like, all right, whatever. The next day, so I had been hitting that year. I was hitting third and fourth. Third, if there's a lefty pitching, I'd hit third, and we had a switch hitter who would hit fourth. If there's a righty pitching, he would hit third, and I would hit fourth. Well, I walked in that day, and the way that in college, at least there, you'd walk in, the lineup would be right there on the bulletin boards. You walk in through the hallway. And so I just kind of got in the habit. I'd look and see, oh, we're facing a lefty today. There's no scouting reports back then as far as who you're facing, whatever. Like, all right, we're facing a left, facing a righty. Well, that day I walked in and I looked 3 or 4 and I'm not there. I'm thinking, what in the world? I'm not playing against LSU on Saturday night. And I started to scan the lineup and I'm hitting 7th. I'm like, all right. So I started thinking, everyone, human nature. I'm like, okay, hitting coach says I'm not getting big hits. Now I'm hitting 7th. What is going on? Well, the head coach, Dave Van Horn, pulls me aside during batting practice. And like, hey man, I got a good feeling about the 7th spot tonight. You're going to come up with a big hit. I'm thinking, the 7th spot, you just decided to drop me from 3rd or 4th to the 7th spot because you got a good feeling tonight. And then fast forward to the 8th inning. It's a 0-0 ball game. Going to the 9th, they put up a 3 spot on top of the 9th. And you can see some people are starting to leave. And then all of a sudden my spot comes up. I hit a walk-off homer in the 7th hole. And I remember him telling me, see, I told you something good was going to happen in the 7th hole tonight. I'm like, you're so full of it. But yeah, that was the Arkansas fan base, man. That's the best fan base. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Got a little pig suey in you?
Oh yeah.
Pig
Yeah.
suey.
Yep. It's a special place. Yeah.
No question. All right. Before we let you go, we spin the wheel of moderately interesting things. It'll land on a category. You guys will both get to answer. Walk This Way. Tell us about the backstory of choosing your walk-up song.
Let's see.
And if it's not that good, just make one up.
Okay. Well, so my walk-up song when I was with the White Sox was Back in Black by AC/DC. That was my first favorite rock song. And then, playing for a team that's white and black, it just kind of made sense. Mm-hmm. I rolled with that song to the Mets this year. Got off to a slow start. It wasn't really working. So I switched to, and it took me a while to switch because my 3.5-year-old twins love it. Like we'll be in the living room and they'll be like, Daddy, put on Back in Black. And I'll put it on and they'll like start doing this strut, like from the on deck circle of the plate and like tap the plate and like get ready to hit. So it's like, man, they really like the song. I can't change it. But I ended up changing it. I changed it to Believer by Imagine Dragons. Okay. And I changed it to that. I really like the lyrics of the song. I like the way it sounds and everything, but I like the lyrics. And what's funny is my wife sent it to me. I mean, I'd heard it, but my wife sent it to me when we were playing in Pittsburgh last year in 2020. And she's like, I really like this song. I think it'd be a good walk-up song. I'm like, well, I already have a walk-up song, so not a big deal. Well, then I hit 2 homers that night in Pittsburgh. And I was like, maybe I should use that walk-up song. I never changed it last year, but that's what I changed it to this year. So now my 3.5-year-old twins want to listen to Believer before they take batting practice in the living room at midnight after games.
That's perfect. Lucas, if you were allowed to have a walk-up song, what would you have?
Well, I technically have like a walk from the bullpen to
okay.
The dugout song. It's Power by Kanye West.
Oh, okay.
He's my favorite artist of all time. I like a lot of his music, but I feel like that one just kind of like plays well in a stadium. It has like a good build to the music and everything about it. And then like what Kanye's talking about is kind of like the mode and mood I want to get into when I'm pitching. Just like, I'm the man, fuck you kind of deal. essentially. And yeah, so that's what I've been using for a couple of years. I had a different Kanye West song in 18 that didn't work out well, so I changed it in 19, and that's what I've been using since then. I got to catch a first pitch from Kanye.
Right.
What was that? It might have been in 2018 or 2019. That was
in Chicago.
No, it was 2018, because I say the highlight of my 2018 baseball season was catching the Kanye West first pitch. Yeah.
That away. Way not to screw that one up. That was good. That's good. James, it was great hanging out with you. You've been more than gracious with your time. Keep those Mets rolling. I know it's been a fun start to the season, and thank you so much for the time. It was good seeing you guys rekindle your relationship here on the Chris Rose Rotation.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
James,
don't miss the bus.
Yeah, I can't miss the bus.
Nice to see your old buddy.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's always a good time.
You know, he strikes me as one of those guys, like, you always want your catcher to be like your strongest dude, like physically and emotionally, it feels like, because he's got so much juggling to do. And I have a feeling that's exactly the description of James McCann.
Yeah, he is like the quintessential like catcher team leader type of personality, and he's going to go on and manage in the big leagues for 30 years after his playing career. It's that like perfect combination.
Yeah, I get it. So you have an extra Miguel Cabrera story you wanted to share.
Yeah,
such a good one from him.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to sneak it in there when we were talking about him, but we had to get him moving so James could make his bus. But I got two little ones, kind of that same vein of like Miggy's just personality and like how, I don't know, it's like how comfortable he feels in the game. He's always felt, always been so good. But I remember my first ever win in the big leagues was against the Tigers. It was 2017, I believe. And it was my first time ever facing Miggy. He was one of those guys that got in the box, and it was like, whoa, you get a few of those. And so Miggy, I might have been one of the first ones that I had. And back then I was throwing sinkers, and I threw him like a lot of sinkers inside. He grounded out a few times that game. And after the game, walking through the tunnel, and he was on, I think he had one of the visiting clubhouse guys. He was on a cart, so the cart could take him through the tunnel to the bus. And his cart's going through. I'm walking. I'm like, oh, there's Miggy on a cart. Cool. And like as it's going through, it's kind of slowing down, and Miggy like makes eye contact with me, and he's like, hey, that sinker, oof, nasty. And I was like, oh my God, holy shit. Like Miguel Cabrera just told me my pitch was good. Wow. And then what was it? Right before the off day, our last game against Tigers, I pitched against them on Saturday, gave up some homers, including one to Miggy. Mm-hmm. And so Sunday, Dylan's pitching against them, absolutely shoving. And it was like late in the game. I think it was right before Miggy's last at bat in like the 8th or 9th inning. And he's in the batter's box all the way across. Like we're on the third base side. They're on the first base side. He's in the first base side batter's box. I'm sitting there, not really paying attention to him on deck circle, not by batter's box. And he looks over, and he might have been like kind of messing around with someone else in our dugout. And I see him, and he looks at me, and he's like, hey, he's like, like that. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. He was basically saying to me, like, hey, thanks for throwing me 2 fastballs in a row. Because that's what I did that at bat. It was like his third at bat, maybe second or third at bat. Go fastball away. And it's down the middle. I threw a fastball down the middle, first pitch, takes it 0-1. I threw another fastball, it was like middle away, homer. He drove it to right center.
Uh-huh.
And I remember after I threw it, I was like walking around the mound, like, what am I doing? I just threw him like 2 cookie fastballs in a row. He took the first one and then crushed the next one. And he was basically the next day in the on deck circle. Hey, thanks. And I was like, and he was like, no, more fastballs, So, I mean, that's just like, he's awesome, man. I've never like actually talked to him straight up, like in the outfield during BP or anything. I've never had like a real conversation, but I've had these like little just interactions. It's just like, man, this guy is awesome. Awesome.
I mean, it's a whole generation of pitchers that have grown up watching Miguel Cabrera and wondering, God, how would I pitch to Miguel Cabrera, when you're 15 years old? Wow, how cool. And then sure enough, here he is.
Yeah, don't throw him 2 heaters down the dick. How about that?
Duly noted. Every youngster that's listening, if Miggy is still playing, and he probably will be by the time you get there,
yeah,
mix it up. Don't go back-to-back heaters on him, unless you want him to thank you the next day from the on-deck circle. So the homework assignments. Listen, we know it's June. It's the end of the school year. Everybody's been a little delinquent. I don't even think I gave you a homework assignment last time I saw you. So I've got an interesting one. Your schedule coming up, you're on the road in Houston, then you have an off day, and then you have a roadie in Pittsburgh. I don't know if you guys are going to spend the off day. I imagine you would just fly right from Houston to Pittsburgh and spend the off day in Pittsburgh.
It's what, a day game getaway day in Houston?
If it's like a Sunday, and then I think
Sunday, and then Monday off day, and then Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
We'll probably fly out of Houston and spend the off day in Pittsburgh, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so that's exactly what it is. What in the world will you be doing in an off day in Pittsburgh? Okay, well, whatever it is.
Not a whole lot.
You get to video it. It could be streaming. It could be going to a nice dinner, even just a snapshot. Just do something interesting in Pittsburgh. It's actually a wonderful city.
Do something interesting in Pittsburgh. Okay.
I mean, that's a true homework assignment.
So it really depends on where I'm at in the schedule.
Oh.
Because if I'm like pitching that next day,
yeah,
I probably won't want to do something like physical. But if I'm not pitching that next day, I have at least a couple days off before I'm pitching again. I already know that one of my teammates has an idea of something he might be wanting to do in Pittsburgh.
Oh.
Went in on. Or even if I am pitching that next day, I can just kind of come and video it and maybe not necessarily partake in the activity.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just to be out there.
Just to say I was there, be a team player.
Okay.
Because you don't get a lot of those days where you have off days on the road. You don't want to.
Not a ton. It's always better at home.
Yeah.
Especially in a city like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that'll be that.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Okay. Cool. When was the last time you saw your wife?
When she came out to New York.
Oh, okay.
She was able to get a little chunk, and so she came out to New York. We had a wonderful time in New York.
Yeah.
I didn't pitch that series, so it was like we had a couple wonderful dinners, and then she flew back. She was on the team flight. It was her first time on the team flight, so that was fun.
Okay.
And then we spent a few more days here in Chicago on that homestand, and then she went back to California. She had her cousin's wedding.
Oh,
she was a bridesmaid in her cousin's wedding. So that was the last time I saw her. She actually just started her internal medicine rotation in her 4th year. She's now a student doctor, is what they call them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So can she go by doctor?
Not yet.
Okay.
No, she's a student doctor. She's working in the hospital. She actually yesterday scrubbed in on a liver biopsy of a cat and got to assist with that surgery. And it's crazy. I don't know how she does it. She's been waking up these last couple days here, 6 a.m, working until 7 at night, and then coming home and then having to write down all the notes and rounds and crazy.
It's no joke. When does she become a doctor? When is that official?
May of next year. When she graduates. Yeah.
Okay. You better make sure you're not pitching that day.
Oh, I know. I'm trying to plan something.
Okay.
It's gonna be tough, but I'm gonna make it work.
I know. Listen, by then you might have already kissed the World Series ring and had your parade and all that sort of stuff. But I'm just putting the seed in your head 11 months from now. Let's make sure we make this about her a little bit that day.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm excited for you. That's awesome. Maybe one day we'll get her on the show.
I think that'd be great.
Would she enjoy it?
I think so. I think she would. She might be a little bit nervous at first, but we get her talking and she could explain from her perspective, it's pretty fascinating, I think.
I think it'd be a good idea to get significant others on the show. I mean, we've already had Archie Bradley's fiance do a drive-by a couple of times. I'd love to hear from whether they're wives or I think all you guys are. Oh, Brault's not. Brault's single. Yeah. Oh, Glasnow's single. What am I kidding? But I already had his brother on a podcast.
My brother's sitting right over there.
What? Stop.
And my mom.
What? Stop.
Visited. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
They've been sitting there the whole time?
Well, they went and got some breakfast while we were with James. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Can we at least get a wave from them?
Yeah,
everybody can see them? I know we're not going to be able to hear because of the headphone situation, but at least.
Well, they'll talk. They can talk into the mic, but they can't hear you.
Yeah, exactly.
There's my mom, Lindsay.
Well, we have conversed, and then your brother.
Casey.
Isn't your brother's name Casey?
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Well, tell him thank you for doing a little drive-by. Does he want to bust out a little Macbeth for us? Isn't he a Shakespearean?
Oh, could you hear that?
Yeah, I don't have that on.
Don't have that. Okay. All right. Well, listen, Lucas, I appreciate you taking some time away from your family to do the podcast today. It was awesome.
Oh yeah, of course.
All right. Listen, next time we see you on the mound, good luck. We'll see you in a few weeks. Don't forget about the homework assignment in Pittsburgh. That's going to be great.
Oh yeah.
Go enjoy the time.
Remind
with your
me
family,
though. Remind me.
Oh, believe me.
When it's coming up. I don't even know when we're going. When are we going to Houston? Later this month?
Yeah, you're in Houston on the 20th of June, and then the 21st is that off day in Pittsburgh. I will be sending you a text reminder.
Beautiful.
Okay. I want to thank everybody for tuning into the Chris Rose Rotation, a production of JOMBOY Media. Special shout out to our guy Robbie Scirocco, who puts it all together. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Lucas.
Peace. Thanks for having me again. We'll be seeing you next time.